bankruptcy of the public health establishment. We've seen a lot of ridiculous partisanship. I mean, I'll never forget that after hectoring people in April of 2020, you can't leave your house. They were all upset at Florida because people were on the beach and playing golf and all this stuff. That if you left your house, you were almost like a bad person until you started to have George Floyd protests. And you had massive numbers of people that are meeting to protest. And these public health people wrote a letter where like hundreds, maybe thousands of them signed saying, yes, we don't think you should be leaving your house normally, but we endorse the protests, and basically said that it was important that people went out even in big groups and protested. And then they said in the letter that does not mean they support protests for other things, like people that wanted to protest lockdowns. And so if that just didn't take the mask off and just show, that this is all just a huge political farce, I don't know what is. But the reality is, even this in June of 2020, I think you've continued to see people in these bureaucracies and in this establishment behave in ways that have totally squandered any type of confidence or goodwill that people would have. And our CDC at this point, anything they put out, you just assume at this point that it's not worth the paper that it's printed on. And so it's not serving a useful function. It's really serving to advance narratives rather than do evidence-based medicine. And so in Florida, the Surgeon General actually has the ability to convene panels of experts to do various things. And so we thought it was important, particularly me talking with other governors, to say, okay, because CDC will say these things, and then people will think, well, because they're saying it, then we have to do it. And maybe not quite as much anymore because people have lost confidence, but you still see it. We had to fight it with the masking in the schools because the school districts were citing CDC as the reason why they wanted to do it. We had to come and overrule that, but it was difficult because they were being put as an authority, and some people were doing that. So other governors and I have talked about the need to have a panel of experts who can counteract nonsense when it's coming out of these institutions, that are not going to just go along with the flow and follow pre-cooked narratives, but will actually do evidence-based analysis. And so in Florida, we're creating what we're calling the Public Health Integrity Committee. It's a committee of expert researchers that will be able to assess recommendations and guidance related to public health and healthcare, but particularly being able to offer critical assessments of things that bureaucracies like the FDA, CDC, and NIH are doing. We know that there's been a lot of faith destroyed in public health. And I think that it's important that we have folks who people actually can rely on when they're looking to answers and when they're looking for guidance on some of these really, really important issues. The people we have today, Bhattacharya, Kaldorf, Hoag, Freeman, Christine Stable-Benn, Weinstein, Templeton, are all going to be on this panel. And so I think you're going to see a lot of other states are going to join with us to be able to work. And so it's not just going to be helping Florida. It's going to be helping people all throughout the United States of America. And you see now in some of these enclaves, they're talking about masking again. They're talking about masking for flu and RSV. And it's like, we're just not going to put up with this in Florida. And